Hello, everyone. My name is Steve. This is a beginner level yoga class. So everything we do here should not cause any pain or discomfort. So if it does, just gently back up out of the pose. So as you're going, if you're folding forward, if you feel a twinge or something, just slightly come up a little higher and then find a place of comfort where you can spend some time. Now you will feel that muscle elongation in some of the poses, and that's okay, but should not be a pinch or an ouch. And if it is, again, just back up gently. For today, why don't we start just finding a comfortable position to rest on your back. So as you go, find that comfortable position, resting your arms to your sides, palms facing up. Maybe gently close the eyes if that brings you some comfort. And we're just going to spend a few minutes here finding our breath. We spend so little time focusing on our breath. We are always thinking about our bellies, what we're hungry, if we're thirsty, when our next meal is, if I want a snack, but little to no attention to our breath at all. So I just want you to feel how the body moves with your breath. Does the chest rise and fall? Does the belly come up and down? What parts of your body are moving with your breath? Neither right nor wrong, just simply observe. As you observe your breath, just slowly in your head count how long your inhale is, and then count how long is your exhale. And just remember this point, just want to know, are they the same? And if they're not, which one is longer? And how does that feel to you? Really understanding and remembering how that breath feels in this moment, what parts of the body are moving. We're going to slowly start to change our breath to a very gentle, relaxing breath. So I'd like you to relax your tongue down and away from the roof of your mouth. Relax your throat and your soft palate. And on your next inhale, slowly start to lengthen the breath to a slow 4 or 5 count in your head. Just nice, long, steady inhale. As you inhale, see if you can bring the breath down into the belly. So the belly should be the first to move. It should come out and down, maybe even down into the pelvis as you inhale. And as you exhale, the belly should gently fall to help empty the lungs. And taking your time, slowly start to lengthen your exhale so that the inhale and exhale are the same length. We want to do this without any anxiety or stress. So if you start to feel any anxiety, meaning by lengthening that exhale, it just does not feel right to you, then slightly shorten the inhale. It doesn't really matter how long each of the breaths are. We really want them to be even. So if any anxiety happens, just slightly shift that length to bring calmness to the mind. After your next inhale, add a slight pause. Exhale and pause. As your tongue and your throat and your soft palate relaxed, this created a void or hollowness in the back of your throat. As you breathe, as the breath is lengthened, you may begin to hear your breath in the inner ears, just the sound of the ocean. It may even sound that sound you make when you're trying to fog up a mirror, fog up glass. It does not need to be very loud. How loud the breath is really of no incidence. It's just this feeling of the breath churning as it fills this void in the back of the neck. As we practice, we want to find this breath. So when we settle into each pose, you're going to have an opportunity to bring your awareness back to the breath and find this nice, long, calming, even breath. As we practice, at times our mind will start to wander. Our to-do list, what's happening right after class, maybe even back to what happened before class. When the mind wanders, as the mind will do, bring your awareness back to this breath. Take a moment to just observe how the body feels without judgment or criticism. Just really grounding on where you are in this moment. And if you choose to do so, you could set an intention for your practice. Maybe just to simply be present, to be on your mat throughout this entire practice. I'm going to slowly start to bring awareness back into the body, maybe moving the fingers and toes. Wiggle the arms and the legs. Then I'd like you to slowly start to bend the right leg and pull the right knee into the chest. So we're going to interlock the fingers either above or behind the knee as you pull that right knee into your chest. I'd like you to keep the leg active. So the leg is not just hanging in space. I'm going to press my leg back into my hands. So I'm pulling it tightly, then press the leg back into the hands, giving resistance. Head can rest on your mat. Maybe even gently close the eyes. And using your breath to deepen. On your exhale, if you choose to, is when you would pull that knee closer to the shoulder, keeping that pressure back into the hand. You're going to grab the outside of the knee with your left hand. Extend your right arm out to the side like a T. And as you exhale, you're going to take the knee across your body to the left. Your gaze falls wherever your neck is comfortable. And then be mindful of how much your right shoulder comes up off the mat. I'd like you to keep that right shoulder blade on the mat. And breathe. Same here. If we wish to deepen this twist, all the movement happens on the exhale. On your next inhale, you're going to bring the knee back to center. Slowly straighten the right leg back down to your mat. We'll do the other side as we bend the left leg. You're interlocking the fingers above or behind the knee as you pull that knee into the chest. Giving resistance back into the hands. Deepening the pose on the exhale if you choose to do so. Keeping that long, steady, even breath. Grabbing the outside of the knee with the right hand, extending your left arm out to the side. And as you exhale, twisting to the right, keeping the left shoulder blade on the floor. Gaze where your neck is comfortable. Breathe. Here, if I want to deepen this twist, I move on the exhale. Inhale as we come back to center. Slowly straighten the left leg back down to the mat. Bend the legs, bottoms of the feet on the mat. Rolling to one side, pushing yourself up slowly to a comfortable seated position. Then we're going to come over to all fours. Hands are going to be underneath the shoulders. Knees are under your hips. Fingers are spread wide. Your middle finger is pointed straight forward. And see if you can twist the arms so that the creases of the elbows are facing in toward one another. Tops of the feet on your mat. As you inhale, untuck, drop the belly down toward the mat, arch and look up to the ceiling. Tucking the tailbone, lifting the back, and the head hangs. Inhale, untuck the tailbone, the belly drops, arch and look up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, lifting your back, and the head hangs last. And taking your time, you're going to do two more. Imagine if you can move one vertebrae at a time, starting with the tailbone. The head is the last to move. And when you're done, we're going to meet in a neutral spine. From here, keeping those hands pressing firmly into the mat. On an inhale, you're going to lift the right arm up toward the ceiling. As you exhale, reach behind the left arm as you reach to the left. Inhale, we come all the way back up. Exhale through and reach. One more inhale up. Exhale through and reach. Maybe go a little further. See if you can drop your right shoulder to the mat. Maybe your head can rest on the mat. And breathe. And we're going to slowly come back to all fours. Next inhale, left arm out to the side, up to the ceiling. Exhale, reaching behind the right arm to the right. Inhale up. Exhale through and reach. And one more inhale up. Exhale through and reach. Maybe dropping the left shoulder to the mat so your head can rest on the mat. And breathe. And we slowly come back to all fours. You really make sure you're grounding your hands into your mat. No space between the hands and the mat at all. Looking down at the elbows, making sure the creases are facing in. We're going to tuck our toes. And as you inhale, we're going to take the hips down, back up toward the ceiling. Keep those legs bent for right now. Don't worry about straightening the legs. I really want you to imagine if you could press the feet back and the hands forward and rip your mat right in half here. So I'm really pressing my hands away from me. That helps me kind of get out of this push-up position, then lengthening through the back, lengthening through the side body. And breathe. Now from here, you're just gonna wake up the back of the legs, get a little blood flowing through those muscles. Keep the left leg bent as you try to straighten the right leg. It's okay if you don't get that heel all the way to the floor. We're gonna bend the right leg as we take the left heel to the floor. You just kind of go back and forth at your own pace. And just waking up the back of those legs. Breathe. Maybe one more round, and then keeping the body lengthening, straighten the legs as much as is possible for you. And that's okay if they still have a micro bend in them. This is absolutely fine. We work on our hamstrings throughout the whole practice. And you inhale, you're going to walk or step the feet forward between your hands. And we're going to come to a flat back. So the legs are going to straighten. And a nice flat back. So as you lift, your hands are going to fall somewhere on the top of your shins, maybe even right near the kneecaps. You don't need to press firmly into the legs. They will just kind of rest here. Right? And then imagine as if you're going to, right through the center of your head, extend forward and through the tailbone, lengthening through the spine. As you exhale, fold forward, keep the legs straight. Hands can grab the elbows. Shake your head, yes. Shake your head, no. Shake your head, maybe. And just hang like a rag doll and breathe. On our next inhale, we're going to lift and rise all the way up, arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Here we're going to ground ourselves in a nice Tadasana. Feet to knees are together, or the heels can be slightly spread, no wider than hip distance. So we're either here, or if this is uncomfortable for you, no wider than the hips. Gently lift your toes so your weight is heavier in the heels, and then relax the toes back down. Imagine if you're taking your legs here and you're just twisting them inward. We're internally rotating these huge muscles right on your top of your legs, your quadriceps, so your knees are kind of tight. And we're going to take our arms and we're going to rotate them out so that the creases of your elbows are facing forward. And it looks a little weird with our arms and our hands twisted out here. Keeping the arm as it is, you can turn on, just try to turn only your hands and let the hands hang. Tadasana. Breathe. Inhale, lifting the arms up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana, extending and reaching up to the ceiling. Your arms are not just hanging here in space. This is a fairly easy pose. I want you to, with intention, reach. Feel it lengthening through the ribs. It's that as if you're trying to reach for that cookie jar on the top shelf with keeping your heels on the floor. Keeping your heels on the floor. Reach, reach, reach. So it's going from here. Reach, reach, reach. Palms are tight. Fingers are spread. Palms are facing in toward one another. And breathe. A gentle back bend as you just look up toward the ceiling, gently engaging the glutes. And as you exhale, swan dive, forward fold, and hang like a ragdoll. Uttanasana. And breathe. Inhale, halfway lift to that flat back. Hands can rest on the shin. Legs soften as you plant your hands to the mat. Step your feet back to a plank. Alakasana. Bring your knees down to the mat. Point your toes. Forearms come down to the mat. So we're going to imagine we have a bar right here, and we're going to go underneath this bar into Cobra. So I'm going to slide forward, go underneath the bar, lifting the chest, gauging the glutes. And it's okay if the arms don't straighten. Maybe this is your Cobra today. Maybe you can come all the way up, resting on the thighs. Maybe you can rest on the toes. Another breath. You tuck your toes under and inhale, lifting those hips up and back to the back corner of the room. Remembering how we felt when we first did our downward dog. How do those legs feel? Maybe we can work to straighten them slightly more. Inhale, walk or step the feet forward. Feet and knees come together. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, ground and rise all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana, reaching up toward the ceiling. Exhale, hands down to heart center. We're making sure here we have a nice Tadasana base. Feet and knees together. Gently lift the toes, weight heavy in the heels. You're rotating the thighs inward. It even feels like you're sticking your butt out slightly. Arms, creases of the elbows face forward. Inhale, lifting the arms up overhead, reaching up towards the ceiling. On your next exhale, we're going to take our hips down and back as if we're going to sit into a chair. This is not a forward fold. Try to keep the arms lifted, extending up toward the ceiling. Exhale, dropping the hips. Keep your gaze somewhat lifted. As long as there's no tension in the neck, don't let the head drop. As soon as your gaze drops, you're going to want to go through a forward fold. Keep your gaze looking toward the horizon. And breathe. as you exhale, drop your right arm down toward the floor. Arms are going to come to a T, and your gaze is going to follow the right hand. Now take a peek back forward and look at your knees. When we do this, sometimes that left knee wants to slide a little bit forward. See if you bring that left knee back so the knees are together. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, dropping the left arm. Arms come to a T. Your gaze follows the left hand. Taking a moment to peek down at the knees. Make sure the right and left knee are together. Relax your tongue, your throat. Soft palate. And bring the left arm back to center. Inhale, come all the way up, a gentle back bend. And exhale. Swan dive, forward fold, and hang like a rag down. Breathe. Inhale, we lift to a flat back. Hands rest on the chin. Legs soften, plant the hands, step the feet back to plank. Knees to the mat, point the toes. Elbows to the mat. And we're going to slide forward underneath that bar, pushing up into Cobra, Bhujangasana. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. And breathe. We're going to lift our right leg up toward the ceiling. Maybe twist that ankle. You're going to bring the right foot between the hands. And if it gets caught part way up, just can't get it all the way up there, just reach back with your right hand. Grab that right ankle. Help step it up. You're going to rest your left knee on the mat. Point your left toes. I'm going to bring my right knee as far forward as I can, but I want to keep my right heel on the floor. So my left leg is going to go for a little bit of a ride. I'm just going to kind of drag it forward as I come forward. As far as I can, keeping that right heel on the floor. If you need a little more here, if you're not feeling anything in the back of the right leg, maybe in the front of the left, tuck the left toes, and I'm going to, without moving my right leg, take the left knee back, maybe just even a half an inch. From here, tuck the toes, lift the left knee, try to stretch it back a little bit, rest the knee, point the toes. And stay on your hands here. Or we can come to the inside and bring the forearms down to your mat. When you do so, don't let that knee wing out. When we do this, sometimes as I come to the inside, that the right knee will get all the way out here. Keep the knee in line with the ankle if you do decide to come down onto your forearms. And breathe. Relax your tongue, your throat, your soft palate. Another breath. And if you are on your forearms, slowly come back up onto your hands. Tuck the toes on the left foot. Lift the left knee. And we're going to take the right foot back. And then lift those hips to downward dog. Left leg lifts up to the ceiling.
Twist that ankle around, twisting the foot. We're going to bring the left foot forward between the hands. If it gets stuck, we reach back with the left hand, grab that ankle, help it all the way up there. Rest the left knee on the mat, point the left toes. I'm going to bring that left knee as far forward as I can, keeping the left heel on the floor. Right leg just kind of goes along for the ride. Need more. We tuck the right toes. Try to inch that right knee back ever slightly. Resting it. Pointing the right toes. And here again, now it may be different from side to side. Just because you can bring the forearms down on the right side does not mean necessarily you'll be able to do it on the left. So be open, be gentle with yourself. Maybe try to bring those forearms down. And be mindful the knee does not wing out. It stays in line with the ankle. And breathe. Relax your tongue, your throat, soft palate. Another breath. If you're on your forearms, slowly come back up onto your hands. You tuck the toes on the right foot, lift the right knee. As we take the left foot back, pressing those hips up and back to downward dog. We're going to lift the right foot, lifting the right leg up toward the ceiling. You're going to bring your right knee to the mat directly behind your right wrist. Rest the entire right leg on your mat. Rest your left knee, point your left toes. Now, if taking a look at your right leg, if there's no tension on the knee, you can take your right foot toward the left wrist. So what I typically do is I'll just take my left hand and very gently, maybe twist the leg. This is going to open up that hip even more. Open up your right hip. Now my right knee is to my right wrist. The toes are to my left wrist. This may be enough for you. If you need a little bit more, just like we did in the last pose, tuck the toes on the left foot. Maybe inch that left knee back. Rest the knee, point the toes. You can stay up here on your hands. Maybe come down onto your forearms. Gently close your eyes. You can allow your head to hang. And breathe. Relax your tongue, your throat, your soft palate. You have that long, steady breath. Another breath. If you're on your forearms, slowly push back up onto your hands. Tuck the toes on the left knee, left foot, lift the left knee as we take the right foot back. And here again, we just press into downward dog. Breathe. Left leg lifts. Left knee to left wrist. Resting the right knee, point the right toes. And here again, as long as I'm not adding any tension to the knee, I can kind of grab my right foot, maybe take it up toward the right wrist. Need more here. Tuck the right toes, lift the right knee, inch it back. Rest the knee, point the toes. And then listening to your body, stay on the hands, or maybe you come down to forearms. Maybe you can close the eyes. Relax your tongue, your throat, your soft palate. And breathe. Another breath. Turn on your forearms, we come back up onto our hands. Tuck the toes on the right leg, right foot, lifting the right knee. We take the left foot back. Grassing back in a downward dog. You bring your knees to the outside edge of your mat. Big toes are going to come together and touch as the tops of the feet rest on your mat. From here, you're going to drop your hips toward the heels and then walk the hands slightly forward. So we're just going to add a little bit more length into the side body. And then rest your forehead down on your mat. Relax your tongue, your throat, soft palate. And explore as you inhale, can you feel any movement in your lower back? So if you bring your awareness to your lower back, just where the back of the ribs might be, can you feel this area slightly start to expand with an inhale? You slowly walk your hands off the left side of your mat. You're going to rest your right hand on top of your left. So you're going to should feel this all through the right side body. Let your head hang and breathe. And walking your hand over to the right side of your mat, left hand on top of right. Breathe. And back to center. Do not sit straight up. Slide your hands back underneath your shoulders. And use your arms to slowly push yourself back up. From here, we're going to come over to a seated position. Legs are going to be straight. I'd like you to reach back with your hands. It's one side at a time. You're going to grab the fleshy part and pull it up and back, just so you can find your sitting bones. So you really want to be grounded on your mat, sitting bones firm. From here, I want you to pick a spot to focus on just over your toes on the floor, so that you're going to fold forward and keep the gaze on that spot as we go into our fold. So we're here, pick a spot to focus on, inhale, sit tall, lengthening through the spine. As you exhale, folding forward, focused on that spot. When you can go no further, hands wherever they fall. Let your head hang. Maybe gently close the eyes. Does not matter how far you fold. Keep the legs straight. And breathe. Using our breath here. As you inhale, imagine lengthening through the torso. So lengthening through the spine, through the body. And as you exhale, maybe you take the pose deeper, folding forward. Relaxing your tongue, your throat. Takes at least 1 minute for an entire muscle to really start to release, especially a large muscle like our hamstring. So we're going to just hold this for a little bit longer here. And again, if you have any discomfort at all, just slightly release from the pose, even just for a breath or two. And if you need, you can go back down and on an exhale. Another breath or two. And inhale, slowly lifting the chest. And we're going to come down onto our back. And you're going to bend both of your legs so the bottoms of your feet are on your mat, no wider than your hips. So you should not be able to see your heels. They should be hidden underneath by your hips and by your legs. Rest your head on the mat. As you inhale, I want you to press your heels firmly into the mat to help lift the pelvis. So inhale, we press, we're lifting, lifting, lifting. Engage the glutes. That's going to help push up and help keep the lift. Arms wherever they're comfortable. They can be at your sides. They can come underneath and the hands can interlock. And breathe. Our gaze should be pretty straight up toward the ceiling. You don't want your chin collapsing onto your chest. Your hands underneath you, release them. And as you exhale with control and going very slowly, I like you to slowly lower the pelvis. And see if you can get your tailbone area to land first. If you can keep any space between your lower back and the floor, that is ideal. If this isn't comfortable for you, if you need to resolve any conflict, just slide the shoulders up so I can take my arm behind me. Inch the shoulders up if I need to help add some comfort. So we're going to do that again. Take a pause for a breath. Next inhale, pressing those heels into the mat, lifting the pelvis, engaging the glutes to help assist with the lift. And I got a nice space between my chin and my chest, arms wherever they're comfortable for you. Breathe. Another breath. Move the hands up from underneath. You get them interlocks. Exhale, I'm going to slowly lower with control. My sacrum tailbone area lands first. You can shy those shoulders up. Add some comfort. From here, we're going to bring both of the knees into the chest. You can hug both of the knees. Rock side to side. Front to back. You can do happy baby where your arms go between your legs. wrapping around the outside of the feet, side to side. Whatever feels good to you with the legs, they can be bent. Start to straighten them. You're going to bring your knees back into the chest. Keeping the knees into the chest, extend your arms out to the side like a T. As you exhale, you're going to drop both of the legs over to the left. Keep your right shoulder blade on the floor. Gaze wherever your neck is comfortable. Breathe. Inhale back to center. As you exhale, you're going to drop the knees over to the right. Keep the left shoulder blade on the floor. Gaze where your neck is comfortable. Relax your tongue, your throat, your soft palate. And come back to center. Give the knees another little hug, another little rock. You're going to straighten the legs down to your mat, arms to your sides, palms facing up. You're going to bring both of your feet and knees together. Keeping the toes touching, the big toes touching, I want you to separate your heels so that the heels are about sitting bone distance apart, not quite as wide as your hips. On your exhale, I want you to release the legs and allow the feet to flop out towards the sides. Taking your arms, palms to the floor, I want you to press in gently to the floor and really feel your shoulder blades kind of ground onto your mat. Shoulders kind of somewhat externally rotate, resting your shoulders on the mat. And then turning only your lower arms, palms back up towards the ceiling. Relaxing your tongue, your throat, your soft palate. Finding that long, steady, even breath. With each exhale, release and relax, allowing the body to become heavy and to sink into your mat. You may even begin to have the sense as if you're floating in water with just the chest and the face floating above. Nothing to achieve, nothing to accomplish. Simply breathe and allow the passive breath to breathe you.
start to whisper and hold your head up to the clouds and move up beside you and won't call your name, but I'll move your heart from a distance, 'cause all your petals fall away. I taste the warmth of the sun as the pastures settle and cool, and the air, the fragrance is fun. You know so many times before, and all beside, and won't take you, but I'll hold your heart from a distance. It's all your blessings and grow. Sweet little flower, and all your dreams will come to pass. Don't cry for the change of the season. This time was never meant to last. When you wake all alone at last, as the autumn winds blow cold, you might hear a voice in the distance, a love that never let you go. You might hear a voice in the distance, a love that never let you go.
Slowly start to lengthen your breath. As your breath lengthens, bring awareness into your hands and your feet, gently moving your fingers and toes. With each inhale, allowing this awareness to move up your arms and up your legs, back into the body as we begin to reawaken. You're going to slowly bend both of your legs so the bottoms of your feet are resting on your mat. Slowly lifting your right arm, resting on the mat above your head. As your breath moves you, keeping the eyes closed, roll onto your right side. With each exhale, releasing and relaxing. As your breath moves you, keeping the eyes closed and the head heavy, slowly push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. You rest your hands in your lap as we bring our awareness back to the breath. Recalling how we felt when we began our practice. Recalling how the breath felt, what parts of the body were moving, as you observe the length of your inhale and the length of your exhale. Just want to just observe any change, neither good nor bad, simply change. Without judgment or criticism, we observe how the body feels, again recalling how we felt when we began our practice. And take this moment to give yourself thanks and gratitude for taking time out of your day for you and for this practice. Be gentle, be kind, be humble, be wise. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank you so much.